how did you go from tennis player to comedian?
Yeah, great question. I think the answer, and I say I think, I have explored this with individual therapists. That's not a joke. I'm the youngest of 4 kids. Good family, great parents, but it was a competition to get mom and dad's attention. So there was always humor. That was kind of how you got mom and dad's attention. But I was kind of good at tennis, a good junior, wanted to go down that path, wanted to try to win Grand Slams. Obviously, I got a long way away from that. But while I was waiting for my matches, and there was a lot of waiting in tennis, there's a lot of waiting too, like me, because I would lose the first day of the week. And I have 6 days to wait around. As a way to kind of deal with some nerves, as a way to get my head out of the sport, I would jot down funny things that happened at the airport. I would jot down funny ideas. I always liked comedy. And by the time I was done playing tennis, and by when I say being done, I mean I ran out of money, I had 4 notebooks of jokes, things that I thought were funny. So I was coaching at University of Michigan for 2 years. I signed up for an open mic at a German bar, and 21 years later, I'm talking to Steve Weissman, filling in for Rich Eisen, and it's a big success story.
It all comes full circle from Ann Arbor, Michigan. That's incredible. Yeah. So what was the process of getting on The Daily Show with Trevor Noah, Michael?
Yeah, it was a really fun one. It was a hard one. There was an opening in their asked, and they said, can you send us an original piece in the commentary, a commentary on today's society that you write. So I wrote a little piece about gun control, sent that in, didn't hear anything for 3 weeks, 4 weeks, thought they didn't even get it, double-checked that the link was clicked. Eventually, I got another email that said, can you come to New York and write another piece, a social commentary on our society. I did a piece about the polarization of the United States politically, of course, trying to be funny, not all serious. And I knew, Steve, I knew something was up because I was living in L.A. at the time, and I went to the Comedy Store to do a set one Saturday night, and I'm on stage performing. And I look over and I go, is that Trevor Noah in the back watching me? That's not the kind of thing I normally see. And I didn't know Trevor personally, but I knew he was the host of The Daily Show. And when you're kind of vying for a position, when the guy who hosts the show randomly shows up at your stand-up, I go, he might be interested in having me. So that was a good sign. And eventually he asked me to be on it, and man, am I thankful he did.
What's he like? What's Trevor like?
Oh, man, he's chill. He's a great boss. He was always so supportive of me, and this is what I loved about it. He wasn't always in agreement with me, but he loved comedy, and he loved when comics would share their point of view. Now, to bring it back to tennis, he loves tennis. Him and Roger Federer are boys.
That's right. They're in a commercial for Switzerland.
They're in this commercial together, and he had Roger on. And he said, Kosta, come down, come meet Roger. So now I'm chatting with Roger Federer, me, Trevor, and Roger. It's a dream come true.
The three amigos.
We went to the U.S. Open final the year Nadal beat Medvedev. We actually sat in the Tennis Channel box. Thank you, Tennis Channel. Medvedev went down 2-0, fought his way back to a 5th set. That was really where I fell in love with and was introduced to how good of a fighter Daniil Medvedev was. But Trevor's great, man. I've worked with a lot of people in showbiz. They're not all chill. They don't all text you, hey, that was a funny segment you did last night. A lot of them don't want you to look them in the eye. Trevor's the complete opposite. And, we miss him. We also miss The Daily Show right now because the writers are on strike. But hopefully that'll be resolved soon.
You do such a great job with your segments on The Daily Show. I love watching them. And you do a lot of these man-on-the-street pieces that put you in potentially some precarious situations. What's the strangest situation that you've been in doing one of those bits? Yeah,
that's a good question. Actually, you know what? I wasn't sure what the answer was, and then now now I have it. I've done Trump rallies. I've done Times Square. We've had a lot of shootings in America, and they sent me out to Times Square to interview from other countries, America, about gun control and gun violence. That's always so interesting to hear what Venezuelans have to think, what the Polish have to think. So that's always fascinating. But my favorite that comes to mind is we went to a Trump rally in El Paso, but they dressed me as the Wall. So I was Ricky the Wall. I'm in costume. I look like a wall. And, we're kind of there to make fun of the Wall. We're kind of there to make fun of Trump supporters. I mean, that wasn't the goal, but you're dressed as the Wall, and this is Trump's big talking point. And, man, did they love it. They loved me. Pictures with me, arms around the wall, and it turned into this odd piece where it was more just everyone's infatuation for the Wall, and then, of course, there was a lot of protesters to the Wall. And it was just a very funny scene. And what was nice about it is that I was protected. I was in this costume, so no one really knew it was me.
You became a mascot.
I became a mascot. And, in fact, Fallon picked up on it. They didn't know it was me. They didn't know it was The Daily Show. And they were like, look at this crazy Trump supporter dressed as a Wall. And it just kind of took off a life of its own. Of course, there's real consequences and real ramifications for the Wall, and the border is not a joke. Of course, I truly believe that. But it was fun to watch scene unfold from the protection of a costume.
Catch the Rich Eisen Show every single day on the Roku channel, 12 to 3 Eastern, for free.